I loose the world from all I thought it was, and choose my own reality instead. I who remain as God created me would loose the world from all I thought it was. For I am real because the world is not, and I would know my own reality. I would loose the world from all I thought it was. I loose the world from all I thought it was, and choose my own reality instead. I loose the world from all I thought it was, and choose my own reality instead. Hello, I'm Willie from the Ozarks, and we're ready for lesson 132 in A Course in Miracles workbook for students. We're reading from the original edition here on Friday, May the 12th of 2023. And I loose the world from all I thought it was. What keeps the world in chains but your beliefs? And what can save the world except yourself? Belief is powerful indeed. The thoughts you hold are mighty, and illusions are as strong in their effects as is the truth. A madman thinks the world he sees is real and does not doubt it, nor can he be swayed by questioning his thoughts' effects. It is but when their source is raised to question that the hope of freedom comes to him at last. Yet is salvation easily achieved? For anyone is free to change his mind, and all his thoughts change with it. Now the source of thought has shifted, for to change your mind means you have changed the source of all ideas you think, or ever thought, or yet will think. You free the past from what you thought before. You free the future from all ancient thoughts of seeking what you do not want to find. The present now remains the only time. Here in the present is the world set free. For as you let the past be lifted and release the future from your ancient fears, you find escape and give it to the world. You have enslaved the world with all your fears, your doubts and miseries, your pain and tears, and all your sorrows press upon it and keep it a prisoner to your beliefs. Death strikes it everywhere because you hold the bitter thought of death within your mind. The world is nothing in itself. Your mind must give it meaning. And what you behold upon it are your wishes, acted out so you can look on them and think them real. Perhaps you think you did not make the world, but came unwillingly to what was made already, hardly waiting for your thoughts to give it meaning. Yet in truth you found exactly what you looked for when you came. There is no world apart from what you wish, and herein lies your ultimate release. Change but your mind on what you want to see, and all the world must change accordingly. Ideas leave not their source. This central theme is often stated in the text. Ideas leave not its source. Ideas leave not their source. This central theme is often stated in the text and must be borne in mind if you would understand the lesson for today. It is not pride which tells you that you made the world you see, and that it changes as you change your mind, but it is pride that argues you have come into a world quite separate from yourself, impervious to what you think, and quite apart from what you chance to think it is. There is no world! Exclamation point. There is no world. This is the central thought the Course attempts to teach. This is the central thought the Course attempts to teach. There is no world! Exclamation. Not everyone is ready to accept it, and each one must go as far as he can let himself be led along the road to truth. He will return and go still farther, or perhaps step back a while, and then return again. But healing is the gift of those who are prepared to learn. There is no world, and can accept the lesson now. Their readiness will bring the lesson to them in some form which they can understand and recognize. Some see it suddenly on point of death and rise to teach it. And that's why I like to listen to these near-death experiences. That's a lot of people that have risen and have come back to teach something. Matter of fact, I want to tell you about one on the other side, NDE. There's Zach Tarker, who when he was 14 years old, he died in a bicycle wreck. Its title is Teenager Dies Shocked by What Grandfather Tells Him in Heaven. So that's a good one I'd encourage you to listen to. I'll leave a link in the description. So some see it suddenly on point of death and rise to teach it. Others find it in experience that is not of this world, which shows them that the world does not exist, because what they behold must be the truth, and yet it clearly contradicts the world. And some will find it in this course and in the exercises that we do today. That's how we're doing it. But and when it says that some find it with experiences that contradict the world, that'd be things like dreams, shamans, teachers, plant medicine could open those kind of sites. Many types of meditations, whether it's dance, sun dance, ghost dance, lots of different meditations. But for us, some will find it in this course and in the exercises we do today. Today's idea is true because the world does not exist. And if it is indeed your own imagining, then you can loose it from all things you ever thought it was by merely changing all the thoughts that gave it these appearances. The sick are healed as you let go all thoughts of sickness, and the dead arise when you let thoughts of life replace all thoughts you ever held of death. A lesson earlier repeated once must now be stressed again, for it contains the firm foundation for today's idea. You are as God created you. There is no place where you can suffer and no time that can bring change to your eternal state. How can a world of time and place exist if you remain as God created you? What is the lesson for today except another way of saying that to know yourself is the salvation of the world? To free the world from every kind of pain is but to change your mind about yourself. There is no world apart from your ideas, because ideas leave not their source, and you maintain the world within your mind in thought. Yet if you are as God created you, you cannot think apart from Him, nor make what does not share His timelessness and love. Are these inerrant in the world you see? Does it create like Him? Unless it does, it is not real and cannot be at all. If you are real, the world you see is false, for God's creation is unlike the world in every way. And as it was His thought by which you were created, so it is your thoughts which made it and must set it free, that you may know the thoughts you share with God. Release the world. Your real creations wait for this release to give you fatherhood, not of illusions, but as God in truth. God shares His fatherhood with you who are His son, for He makes no distinctions in what is Himself and what is still Himself. What He creates is not apart from Him, and nowhere does the Father end, the Son begin, as something separate from Him. There is no world because it is a thought apart from God, and made to separate the Father and the Son, and break away a part of God Himself, and thus destroy His wholeness. Can a world which comes from this idea be real? Can it be anywhere? Deny illusions, but accept the truth. Deny you are a shadow briefly laid upon a dying world. Release your mind, and you will look upon a world released. Today our purpose is to free the world from all the idle thoughts we ever held about it, and about all living things we see upon it. They cannot be there, no more than we, for we are in the home our Father set for us along with them. And we who are as He created us would loose the world this day from every one of our illusions, that we may be free. Begin the 15-minute periods in which we practice twice today with this: I who remain as God created me would loose the world from all I thought it was, for I am real because the world is not, and I would know my own reality. Then merely rest, alert but with no strain, and let your mind in quietness be changed. Then merely rest, alert but with no strain, and let your mind in quietness be changed, so that the world is freed along with you. You need not realize the healing comes to many brothers far across the world, as well as to the ones you see nearby, as you send out these thoughts to bless the world. But you will sense your own release, although you may not fully understand as yet that you could never be released alone. Throughout the day, increase the freedom sent through your ideas to all the world, and say, whenever you are tempted to deny the power of your simple change of mind, I loose the world from all I thought it was, and choose my own reality instead. Wow, so let's say that throughout the day, particularly when you're tempted. I loose the world from all I thought it was and choose my own reality instead. And then before your 2 15-minute periods, which is that holy half an hour He wants us to take now, I who remain as God created me would loose the world from all I thought it was, for I am real because the world is not, and I would know my own reality. Okay, let's go back and take a look in our text reading, and we're ready for in chapter 14, bringing illusions to the truth, and we're ready for the shift to miracles, paragraph 46, section 6. While you're turning there, let me just tell you briefly about what's going on around the world. It's Child Care Providers Day here on Friday, May the 12th. International Awareness Day. Wow, that should be every day, shouldn't it? International Myalgic Encephalomyelitis Awareness Day, which is chronic fatigue syndrome. International Nurses Day. Limerick Day, which limericks are a humorously, frequently body verse of 3 long and 2 short lines rhyming, A, B, B, and A, popularized by Edward Lear. So anyway, today's Limerick Day. You might write a limerick poem. Military Spouse Appreciation Day, National Fibromyalgia Awareness Day, National Hospital Day, National Nutty Fudge Day, National Odometer Day, National Provider Appreciation Day, and National Public Gardens Day. Of course, I'm out here in my woods, which that's my garden. Okay, and I also wanted to tell you a little bit more about those muscadines. We looked at that black sugar, and yesterday we looked at the ACIM, which was one that it mentioned was one to pollinate that would help the sugar black muscadine needed a mate. And it said that you could use the Carlos, the ACIM, or the Delicious. Well, I also found that one called Janet, and it was actually produced by ACIM Nursery. So at ACIM.com, Muscadine Vitis rodendifolia. The Janet muscadine vine is a very large muscadine and is the latest ripening bronze female variety. You have female varieties, and then you have what's called self-fertile varieties. So the females have to have another pollinator. The muscadine is perhaps the most cold-hardy muscadine of the female varieties. An excellent quality and taste with edible skin. The Janet Muscadine vine is very disease resistant, ripens mid to late season, and contains 20% sugar. Developed at Ison's nursery, this variety was named after Bill Ison's youngest daughter, Janet. Patent protected. Note, female variety that must be planted within 50 feet of a self-fertile variety. Zone 7 through 10. Okay. All right, well, let's go take a look now in our reading. The shift to miracles. When no perception stands between God and His creations, or between His children and their own, the knowledge of creation must continue forever. The reflections which you accept into the mirror of your minds in time, but bring eternity nearer or farther. But eternity itself is beyond all time. Reach out of time and touch it with the help of its reflection in you, and you will turn from time to holiness, as surely as the reflection of holiness calls everyone to lay all guilt aside. Reflect the peace of heaven here and bring this world to heaven, for the reflection of truth draws everyone to truth, and as they enter into it, they leave all reflections behind. So you might have to start by seeing the reflection of goodness and kindness, but eventually you realize that you are goodness and kindness. In heaven, reality is shared and not reflected, but sharing its reflection here, its truth becomes the only perception the Son of God accepts, and thus remembrance of His Father dawns on him, and he can no longer be satisfied with anything but his own reality. That's what we want. You on earth have no conception of limitlessness, for the world you seem to live in is a world of limits. You on earth have no conception of limitlessness, for the world you seem to live in is a world of limits. In this world, it is not true that anything without order of difficulty can occur. The miracle, therefore, has a unique function and is motivated by a unique teacher who brings the laws of another world to this one. The miracle is the one thing you can do that transcends order, being based not on differences but on equality. 48. Miracles are not in competition, and the number of them that you can do is limitless. They can be simultaneous and legion. This is not difficult to understand once you conceive of them as possible at all. What is more difficult to grasp is the lack of order of difficulty, which stamps the miracle as something that must come from elsewhere, not from here. From the world's viewpoint, this is impossible. You have experienced lack of competition among your thoughts, which, even though they may conflict, can occur to you together and in great numbers. You are so used to this that it can cause you little surprise. 49. Yet you are also used to classifying some of your thoughts as more important, larger or better, wiser or more productive and valuable than others. And this is true about the thoughts which cross the mind of those who think they live apart. For some are reflections of heaven, while others are motivated by the ego, which but seems to think. The result is a weaving, changing pattern which never rests and is never still. It shifts unceasingly across the mirror of your mind, and the reflections of heaven last but a moment and grow dim as darkness blots them out. Where there was light, darkness removes it in an instant, and alternating patterns of light and darkness sweep constantly across your minds. The little sanity which still remains is held together by a sense of order which you establish. Yet the very fact that you can do this and bring any order into chaos shows you that you are not an ego, and that more than an ego must be in you. For the ego is chaos, and if it were all of you, no order at all would be possible. Yet though the order which you impose upon your minds limits the ego, it also limits you. To order is to judge, and to arrange by judgment. Therefore it is not your function but the Holy Spirit's. It will seem difficult for you to learn that you have no basis at all for ordering your thoughts. This lesson the Holy Spirit teaches by giving you shining examples to show you that your way of ordering is wrong, but that a better way is offered you. 51. The miracle offers exactly the same response to every call for help. It does not judge the call. It merely recognizes that it is. It merely recognizes what it is and answers accordingly. It does not consider which call is louder or greater or more important. You may wonder how you who are still bound to judgment can be asked to do that which requires no judgment of your own. The answer is very simple. The power of God and not of you engenders miracles. The miracle itself is but the witness that you have the power of God in you. That is the reason why the miracle gives equal blessing to all who share in it. And that is also why everyone shares in it. The power of God is limitless, and being always maximal, it offers everything to every call from anyone. There is no order of difficulty here. A call for help is given help. The only judgment involved at all is the Holy Spirit's one division into two categories, one of love and the other, the call for love. You cannot safely make this division, for you are much too confused either to recognize love or to believe that everything else is nothing but a need for love. You are too bound to form and not to content. What you consider content is not content at all. It is merely form and nothing else. For you do not respond to what a brother really offers you, but only to the particular perception of his offering by which the ego judges it. 53. The ego is incapable of understanding content and is the ego is incapable of understanding content and is totally unconcerned with it. To the ego, if the form is acceptable, the content must be. Otherwise, it will attack the form. You who believe you understand something of the dynamics of the mind, let me assure you that you know nothing of it at all. For of yourselves you could not know of it. The study of the ego is not the study of the mind. In fact, the ego enjoys the study of itself and thoroughly approves the undertakings of students who would analyze it, approving its importance. Yet they but study form with meaningless content, for their teacher is senseless, though careful to conceal this fact behind a lot of words which sound impressive, but which lack any consistent sense when they are put together. 54. This is characteristic of the ego's judgment. Separately, they seem to hold, but put them together, and the system of thought which arises from joining them is incoherent and utterly chaotic. For form is not enough for meaning, and the underlying lack of content makes a cohesive system impossible. Separation, therefore, remains the ego's chosen condition, for no one alone can judge the ego truly. Yet when two or more join together in searching for truth, the ego can no longer defend its lack of content. The fact of union tells them it is not true. 55. It is impossible to remember God in secret and alone, for remembering Him means you are not alone and willing to remember it. Take no thought for yourself, for no thought you hold is for yourself. If you would remember your Father, let the Holy Spirit order your thoughts and give only the answer with which He answers you. Everyone seeks for love as you do, and knows it not, unless he joins with you in seeking it. If you undertake the search together, you bring with you a light so powerful that what you see is given meaning. The lonely journey fails because it has excluded what it would find. 56. As God communicates to the Holy Spirit in you, so does the Holy Spirit translate His communications through you, so you can understand them. God has no secret communications, for everything of Him is perfectly open and freely accessible to all, being for all. Nothing lives in secret, and what you would hide from the Holy Spirit is nothing. Every interpretation you would lay upon a brother is senseless. Let the Holy Spirit show him to you and teach you both his love and need for love. Neither his mind nor yours holds more than these two orders of thought. In the last paragraph, 57, the miracle is the recognition that this is true. Where there is love, your brother must give it to you because of what it is. But where there is need for love, you must give it because of what you are. Long ago, we said this course will teach you what you are, restoring to you your identity. We've already learned that this identity is shared. The miracle becomes the means of sharing it. By supplying your identity wherever it is not recognized, you will recognize it. And God himself, who wills to be with his Son forever, will bless each recognition of his Son with all the love he holds for him. Nor will the power of all his love be absent from any miracle you offer to his Son. How then can there be any order of difficulty among them? Wow. I loose the world from all I thought it was and choose my own reality instead. Say that throughout the day. And before you do your 15-minute practice, say, I remain as God created me. I who remain as God created me would loose the world from all I thought it was. For I am real because the world is not, and I would know my own reality. I loose the world from all I thought it was and choose my own reality instead. I who remain as God created me would loose the world from all I thought it was. For I am real because the world is not, and I would know my own reality. I loose the world from all I thought it was and choose my own reality instead. I loose the world from all I thought it was and choose my own reality instead. I loose the world from all I thought it was. Thank you so much for joining me. I loose the world from all I thought it was.